Have you ever met someone whose presence alone seems to shift the energy in the room? Not because of fame or fortune, but because they know who they are becoming. They walk, speak, and breathe with the quiet certainty of someone already living their dreams. Not in the future, but now. This isn't luck. It's not magic. It's mastery of a mental blueprint that the world's most accomplished people live by, whether they realize it or not. They've made a conscious decision to become the version of themselves that already has what they desire. When you carry yourself as if your success is already a done deal, when your voice, your posture, your decisions reflect your future self, the world begins to mirror that conviction. Reality doesn't wait for proof. It follows belief. But let's rewind, because most people don't start here. Most start by doubting themselves. They wait for results before giving themselves permission to feel worthy. They delay action until they feel ready. But readiness doesn't come first. Identity does. The real transformation begins when you flip the formula. You don't achieve first, and then believe. You believe, and then achieve. Think of Serena Williams training for her 23rd Grand Slam. Do you think she waited for a trophy before believing she was a champion? No. She stepped into the court, already owning the title. In her mind, her body just followed suit. This isn't about pretending. It's about choosing a new standard. It's about installing a new operating system in your mind that aligns with where you're headed, not where you've been. And it starts with asking one question. Who am I when I've already won? What time do you wake up? What do you say to yourself when no one's listening? How do you walk into a room? What do you refuse to tolerate? What becomes non-negotiable? Once you define it, you step into it. You embody it. Not later, not someday, but now. And yes, at first it feels unfamiliar. You might feel like you're faking it. That's normal. That discomfort, it's just your old identity being challenged by the truth of who you're becoming. And here's the truth. You are not your past. You are not your current results. You are the vision that pulls you forward, and you have full permission to act accordingly. It's the same principle Olympic athletes use when they visualize crossing the finish line before the race even starts. Their bodies rehearse the moment so many times in their minds that when the real day arrives, it feels like memory, not possibility. But this isn't reserved for champions. This is how your brain works. It doesn't know the difference between imagination and experience when the emotion is strong enough. That's why you must feel your future as vividly as if it's already unfolding. See it, hear it, move in it. Let it become your new emotional home. Here's the shift most never make. They think success is about effort alone. But effort without identity is a treadmill. You run hard, but you never arrive. The key isn't to work harder. It's to become someone who works differently. Look at how Steve Jobs presented the first iPhone. He didn't pitch a product. He declared a future. He showed up with the energy of someone who already knew he was reshaping the world. That conviction created a gravitational pull that drew others in. That's the power you hold. When you're certain, when you move with aligned belief, people respond. Opportunities notice. Life adjusts. And the path that once seemed impossible begins to clear. So start now. Dress like the version of you who already has the life you want. Speak the way that person would speak. Make choices from that mindset. Your mind will catch up. Your surroundings will follow. And before long, what once felt like acting as if will feel like acting in truth. Because it is. There's something fascinating about how your brain is wired. It's constantly filtering the world to match what you believe to be true, not what's real, what you expect. And that's the key to unlocking change. Your thoughts aren't just passing notions. They're instructions, signals. Every idea you dwell on sends a message to your subconscious. This is important. Build more of this. And your mind obeys. Think of it like your brain's GPS. It doesn't care whether the destination is success or failure. It just goes where it's told. If you feed it images of struggle, doubt, or lack, it will filter out the opportunities that don't align with those beliefs. Not because they aren't there, because you won't see them. But if you flip that script, if you train your focus to see abundance, certainty, momentum, your brain will start noticing different signals. Suddenly, a casual conversation becomes a door. A small idea turns into a launchpad. A challenge transforms into a growth spurt. This isn't fantasy. It's neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to rewire itself based on repeated thought and emotion. Let's take the example of Malala Yousafzai. Before she ever stepped on the Nobel stage, before the world knew her name, she carried within her a vision of impact, of education, of change. Her circumstances were extreme, yet her identity as a world changer came first. Her actions followed. You don't need fame or global attention. You need clarity and commitment. You need to stop negotiating with your potential. The life you want doesn't arrive by accident. It emerges when every part of you, your language, your habits, your decisions, starts vibrating at the frequency of that life. And yes, that's a real thing. Science has shown that your emotions, your words, and even your posture send subtle cues, internally and externally. People pick up on it. You pick up on it. That's why a single shift in how you speak about your goals can ignite a domino effect of confidence. Stop saying, "I'll try," and start saying, "I will." Replace "I hope" with "I expect." Swap "someday" for "today." These aren't just motivational mantras. They're cognitive upgrades. Each one reinforces your internal narrative, and that narrative becomes your reality. And remember this: your environment is either fueling your future or anchoring you to your past. Who do you spend the most time with? What ideas surround you every day? What does your space say about your standards? Oprah Winfrey often credits her transformation to the mentors she sought out, people who had already walked the path she wanted to follow. She filled her mental atmosphere with voices of empowerment, not excuses. That was no coincidence. That was strategy. You can do the same. It starts by curating your surroundings like your future depends on it, because it does. Replace noise with inspiration. Replace distraction with design. Build an ecosystem that reflects where you're headed, not where you've been. And no, you don't have to wait until everything's perfect. In fact, you can't. The fastest way to shift your reality is to make your current world reflect the one you're moving toward. That might mean showing up 10% sharper, speaking 10% bolder, planning 10% further ahead. It's not about huge leaps. It's about consistent signals, tiny votes for your future self. Imagine for a moment you're walking through your life 5 years from now. You see the version of yourself who's already made it. Now ask, what did they stop tolerating? What did they start doing long before the results arrived? The answer is your roadmap, because that version of you isn't just a fantasy, it's a blueprint, one that already exists inside you. You don't have to create it from scratch. You simply have to uncover it, step into it, and live like it's already yours. There comes a moment in every transformation where belief alone isn't enough. You've imagined it. You've felt it. You've aligned your thinking. Now it's time to move. This is where most dreams stall, right at the intersection of vision and motion. People wait for a sign, for permission, for the fear to disappear. But the truth, motion creates clarity, not the other way around. Your most powerful breakthroughs won't come while sitting still, meditating on a mountaintop. They'll come in the middle of action, in the midst of discomfort, risk, and forward movement. Consider how Elon Musk launched SpaceX. He wasn't waiting until every rocket blueprint was flawless. He wasn't banking on certainty. He was acting as if commercial space travel was inevitable. And because he moved from that frequency, the world eventually caught up. You have to act with the same energy, not from desperation, but from certainty. There's a subtle difference between hustling and embodying. One says, "I need this to work." The other says, "This is who I am now." That shift changes everything. When you walk into a room with the mindset that you're already successful, not because of the bank account, but because of your character, your clarity, your momentum, people feel it. Opportunities find you because you're broadcasting a signal of congruence. This is why your actions must match your future, not your past. Do your routines reflect someone who's evolving? Do your boundaries reflect someone who values their time and energy? Do your daily decisions speak the language of expansion or hesitation? When you begin to live as your future self today, something powerful happens. Your nervous system starts adapting. Your mind stops arguing with your goals and begins creating the conditions to fulfill them. And yes, it will feel unnatural at first. You'll doubt yourself. You'll want to retreat. That's normal. That resistance isn't proof that you're off track. It's a signal that you're reconditioning your identity. Every time you do something bold, even if it's small, you're voting for your next level self. One decision at a time. So ask yourself, what would the evolved version of me do in this moment? Would they hesitate or execute? Would they shrink or speak? Would they delay or begin? Now do that. The action doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be in alignment. Because alignment is what generates momentum. When your behaviors reinforce your beliefs, you become unstoppable. Not because challenges disappear, but because you've built the internal infrastructure to handle them. Look at how Beyoncé prepares for a performance. Long before the lights come on, long before the applause, she's rehearsed every step in her mind. But more than that, she steps onto that stage already believing she's earned the moment. Her preparation isn't just physical, it's energetic. That's why she commands the space. You don't have to be a global icon to operate at that level. You just need to bring the same presence to your life. Start with what you already have. Organize your space as if it belongs to a leader. Speak to others with the confidence of someone who's already contributed something meaningful. Treat your body like it's the vessel for your greatest work. Because it is. The way you do the small things tells the world how you'll do the big things. And the more you act like the version of you who already has the result, the more your mind rewires to make that result inevitable. So take the call, write the message, make the decision. Don't wait for external validation to prove you're ready. Let your actions be the evidence. What if the very thing you've been trying to avoid is the path forward? Think about it. Most people spend their entire lives dodging discomfort, tiptoeing around failure, shrinking from uncertainty, waiting for a moment where everything feels safe. But real growth doesn't bloom in comfort. It ignites in resistance. Every challenge is not a wall. It's a signal, a test, a mirror asking, are you ready to become the person who can handle what you've asked for? The people you admire, those who've created impact, legacy, transformation, they didn't avoid struggle. They redefined it. They used it. Take J.K. Rowling, rejected by multiple publishers, living on government assistance. Every no could have been the end. But she didn't interpret it as defeat. She used it as fuel. The result? She built a world that inspired millions, not because she had no fear, but because her vision was louder than her doubts. You have that same ability, because fear isn't the enemy. Fear is feedback. It shows you where your edge is, where your breakthrough lives. The only difference between someone who rises and someone who stays stuck. One decided to keep moving despite the doubt. So here's the question to ask when you hit resistance. If I knew success was guaranteed, how would I respond right now? Let that question guide you. It removes fear from the driver's seat. It puts you back in control. That shift alone is powerful because it changes your internal story from, I hope this works, to this will work, and every step is part of the plan. It transforms obstacles into assignments. Delays become preparation. Rejection becomes redirection. Failure becomes refinement. When you stop seeing setbacks as personal flaws and start seeing them as curriculum for the life you're building, everything changes. This isn't about blind optimism. This is strategic resilience. And it's built, moment by moment, through language. Yes, language. What you say out loud and internally becomes the script your life follows. Replace maybe with definitely. Swap I'll try with I'm doing it. Drop we'll see, and replace it with watch this. This isn't ego. It's alignment. It's training your mind to support your goals instead of sabotaging them. Muhammad Ali famously said, "I am the greatest," before the world believed it. His confidence wasn't delusion, it was decision. A declaration that pulled his body and circumstances into agreement. That's the energy you need to bring, not because everything will go smoothly, but because no matter what happens, you've already chosen who you are. So the next time you feel like backing down, remember, the discomfort you're experiencing isn't a sign to quit. It's a sign to lean in. It means you're doing something different, something unfamiliar, something that requires courage. And guess what? That's how new neural pathways are formed. That's how confidence is built, not in the absence of fear, but in its presence. Every time you act in spite of uncertainty, you teach your nervous system that you're safe. While growing, you create proof that you can navigate pressure and still rise. And over time, that becomes your new normal. You stop flinching at challenges. You stop doubting your place at the table. You start seeing every hard thing not as an interruption, but as your initiation. So welcome the pressure, lean into the stretch, and remind yourself, this isn't the end. This is the beginning of a stronger, clearer, more unstoppable me. Big dreams get all the attention, but it's your small decisions, repeated with intention, that shape who you become. Everyone talks about goals, but goals are just destinations. What really moves the needle? Rituals, not routines you do on autopilot, but intentional practices that declare, this is who I am now, because your life isn't built in occasional breakthroughs. It's shaped in daily repetitions. Every action you repeat becomes a vote for the identity you're becoming. Want to lead? Start speaking with clarity every day. Want to thrive? Design a morning that elevates your energy every day. Want to be world-class? Obsess over the details every day. Take Tom Brady. Before he became the most decorated quarterback in NFL history, he created a system of training, nutrition, sleep, mindset, down to the smallest details. Not after the Super Bowl wins. Before, when no one was watching, his greatness wasn't a surprise, it was an outcome. You need that same structure, because without systems, willpower fades. Motivation comes and goes, but rituals, they create momentum that doesn't depend on mood. So ask yourself, what would my highest self do each morning before the world demands my attention? Would they hit snooze, scroll aimlessly, start reactive? Or would they rise with clarity, fuel their mind, set intention? You already know the answer. Now make it real. Even small shifts matter. Set your clothes out the night before, like someone with purpose. Journal your future wins, like they already happened. Speak out loud the kind of day you intend to create. And your environment, that's a mirror. Your desk, your phone, your calendar. These aren't just tools. They're signals. If they reflect chaos, your mind absorbs it. If they reflect excellence, your actions follow suit. Create a space that whispers, success lives here. Because your surroundings either reinforce your vision or compete with it. Want to take it further? Audit your inputs. The books, podcasts, conversations you consume, are they designed for the future you're building? Do they stretch your thinking or just fill your time. You don't have to cut everything out. Just elevate enough of it to tip the scale. Even 5 minutes of focused, empowering content each morning can shift your trajectory. It tells your brain, this is our new baseline. And the beautiful part, what feels forced at first becomes second nature. At first, waking early feels hard. Speaking boldly feels awkward. Saying no to distractions feels uncomfortable. But discomfort is proof that you're breaking old patterns. It's the price of transformation. Pay it gladly, because with each repetition, you're rewiring your system. You're installing a new default, one where confidence is automatic, one where self-respect is normal, one where momentum is constant. So stop waiting for breakthroughs. Create them. Design your day like a blueprint for greatness. And remember, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. But when your systems are aligned with who you're becoming, there's no limit to what you'll create. You've seen glimpses of who you could be. The confident version, the focused version, the version that doesn't hesitate, second-guess, or dim their light. That person isn't a fantasy. They're waiting for one thing, your permission. Because you don't become your future self someday. You decide to be them today. Not through wishful thinking, through embodiment. Think of Walt Disney walking through empty land in Anaheim, describing an amusement park that didn't exist yet. Not in blueprints, but in detail. He spoke as if he'd already built it. He thanked people as if the doors were already open. That wasn't delusion. It was vision with legs. You need that same energy, because your subconscious doesn't respond to maybe. It responds to certainty. It responds when your thoughts, your actions, your voice, all agree on where you're headed. So ask yourself again, who am I when I've already made it? Now act accordingly. Walk with that posture. Speak with that intention. Choose with that level of clarity. And when life throws challenges your way, and it will, don't flinch. Don't shrink. Remember, the path was never meant to be easy. It was meant to shape you. Obstacles aren't detours. They're the weight room for your character. You build confidence not by avoiding difficulty, but by moving through it with your head high, your heart open, and your belief intact. Because when you continue showing up, even when it's hard, even when it doesn't feel like it's working, you're telling the universe, I'm already the person this life belongs to. And that's when the magic happens. That's when doors open. That's when timing aligns. That's when people show up who speak your future language. Not because you waited, because you matched the moment before it arrived. You want a shortcut? Here it is. Speak gratitude for results you haven't seen yet. Celebrate progress before it's visible. Thank your future in advance. This isn't fantasy. It's how your mind learns to expect success. And what your mind expects, your life will eventually reflect. You don't have to know how it all unfolds. You just have to move like it's already done. Speak like it's real. Build like it's inevitable. The rest will catch up. So from this moment forward, don't ask, what if it doesn't work? Ask, what would I do differently if I knew it already had? Then go do exactly that. Because your future isn't something you chase. It's something you step into. Right now.